Welcome to all of you in my channel. Today I am going to discuss one famous topic from Indian history. It is one of the important topic among the national movement which was started by the nation's father Mahatma Gandhi. The name of the topic is the non-cooperation movement. It was started on 1st August 1920 and came to an end in February 1922. In the very beginning of the movement, Gandhiji declared that Swaraj would be achieved within a year, but that remained unachieved. Considering the prediction of Swaraj, it may appear that the non-cooperation movement was a failure, but in the apparent failure, one cannot remain blind to the immense importance of the movement. In fact, the non-cooperation movement was the first mass movement of India in which all classes of the people participated. Gandhiji's call touched every Indian, and the movement had been a real mass movement. So, we should know what were the causes and objectives of that movement. Gandhiji first announced his plan of non-cooperation with the British in a meeting of Khalifatist held in Delhi in November 1919. On the advice of Gandhiji, the Khilafat leaders lent their full support to the proposed non-cooperation movement. Meanwhile, the Indian National Congress in its Nagpur session also adopted a resolution supporting the proposed non-cooperation movement. So, we can tell the causes in the following ways. Number one, people's resentment against the Rowlatt Act, which was happened in the year 1919, a black act introduced by the Britishers. The people's reaction to the ghastly massacre at the Jallianwala Bagh in Amritsar. Number three, the demand for Swaraj was jointly raised by the Moralists and the Radicals. And number four, the possibility of Hindu-Muslim joint movement on the Khilafat question. Now we can tell the objectives, means what are the objectives of the non-cooperation movement. Number one, remedy of the Punjab wrongs done by the Britishers. Number two, vindication of the prestige of the Caliphate. And number four, fulfillment of the demand of Swaraj. The movement has had two aspects. Number one, non-cooperation with the British in non-violent way, and this included renunciation of the titles conferred by the British government, boycott of British courts, legislatures, etc., withdrawal of children from the schools and colleges run by the government, boycott of British manufacturers, etc. And the constructive or positive aspects of the non-cooperation included establishment of national schools, promotion of Swadeshi and hand spinning to do away with untouchability, promotion of communal harmony, etc. Then, who are the people who participated in that movement? It was many people from many stages of the society. Number one, thousands of students left government-aided schools and colleges, lawyers left their professions, and many other resigned government jobs to participate in the movement. Number two, alongside the boycott of foreign goods, people started using indigenous products. Khadi and chakra became the symbol of national sentiment. Number 3, The women folk were also not far behind. Basanli Devi, the wife of the celebrated leader Chittaranjan Das, Sarojini Naidu and others actively participated in that movement. And why the non-cooperation movement suddenly withdrew by the nation great leader Mahatma Gandhi? Actually, Gandhiji started that movement in the way of non-violence. Gandhiji was a non-violent movement. Gandhiji's was a non-violence movement. There was no scope of violence in it. Realizing that his movement was drifting towards violence, Gandhiji immediately declared its withdrawal in 1922. The issue that shocked Gandhiji was the Chauri Chaura near Gorakhpur in Uttar Pradesh incident. The infuriated move set the police station on fire. In the incident, a number of constables were burned to death. The incident took place on 4 February 1922. Though Gandhiji's decision was later on duly ratified by the Indian National Congress, to some of the members of the Congress, suspension of the movement appeared as a bolt from the blue. Even Jawaharlal Nehru made no secret of his displeasure to the sudden withdrawal of the non-cooperation movement by Gandhiji. Yet, in defense to their love and respect for Gandhiji, the discontented leaders refrained from openly opposing him. So, was it a failure and success? The non-cooperation movement of 1920 failed to achieve its immediate goals of establishing Swaraj in India. But this apparent failure must not blind us about the great impact of the movement had on India and her people. Firstly, the non-cooperation was the first mass movement on its kind that touched the people even of the remotest village. Number two, the movement augmented the organizational strength of the Indian National Congress. Indian people could realize that it was through this organization that the goal of Swaraj could be achieved. Number three, the movement increased the self-confidence of the people. People are now emboldened to challenge the imperialist rule of the British. Number four, the social impact of the movement was no less important. From this time onwards, people became conscious of the people evils like untouchability, communism, caste barriers, etc., and efforts were made to mobilize public opinion for their eradication. So, at last, we can come to an conclusion that though non-cooperation movement did not get its immediate goal, but it was not failure. It had some positive, or we can tell it get some success also. It was one of the movement by that people of India unite. So we can tell that it was one of the great movement started by Mahatma Gandhi. That's all for today. If you like the topic, please subscribe my channel. Namaskar.